All right, let's jump into this research paper, Conceptualizing the Secure Machine Learning Operations SecMLOps Paradigm.
Yeah,
I mean, you said this over to me. You, as experts in the field, um,
absolutely. Yeah,
you're already familiar with the complexities of deploying machine learning models.
for sure.
But this paper really tackles a crucial aspect that I think often gets overlooked, and that is security.
Yeah, what's striking about this paper is how it highlights the limitations of traditional MLOps.
Okay.
It's like building a high-performance race car without considering the brakes. You might get great speed,
Right.
but the risks are enormous.
And those risks are only amplifying as machine learning applications become more and more critical.
You're exactly.
Imagine the consequences of a security breach in a healthcare system
Oh, yeah,
or a self-driving car.
absolutely.
Hmm.
That's why the authors Zhang and Jaskolka from Carleton University introduced this concept of SecMLOps.
Okay.
They argue that security can't be an afterthought. It needs to be woven into the very fabric of the MLOps lifecycle.
So it's not just about adding security measures at the end.
Right.
It's about considering security at each stage of development.
Precisely. They propose a framework called PPTGC, People, Processes, Technology, Governance, and Compliance.
Okay.
And instead of diving into each element individually,
Yeah.
let's focus on one key insight that I think stands out, and that's the interconnectedness of these elements.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How do these elements relate to each other in the context of SecMLOps?
Well, the authors make a compelling argument that you can't achieve robust security by focusing on just one aspect.
Okay.
For instance, having the right technology without skilled people to implement and manage it is like having a state-of-the-art security system with no one trained to use it.
So it's a holistic approach.
Yeah.
You need skilled people to design secure processes, utilizing appropriate technologies, all within a framework of strong governance and compliance.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how they connect this framework to practical challenges.
Huh.
For example, they highlight the lack of security awareness among ML practitioners.
Mhm.
Many data scientists and ML engineers are primarily focused on model performance,
Right.
with security taking a back seat.
It's understandable given the pressure to deliver results quickly.
Sure.
But this paper really underscores the importance of bridging that knowledge gap.
Absolutely. They suggest incorporating security training into data science curricula
Okay.
and promoting collaboration between security experts and ML teams.
Yeah.
And this brings us to another key point, the need for specific security processes within the MLOps workflow.
They argue that security needs to be embedded at each stage: design, experimentation, and production.
Right.
This makes sense, but how does that translate into concrete actions?
Well, they provide some compelling examples.
Oh.
During the design phase, they recommend conducting thorough threat modeling exercises,
Okay.
simulating potential attacks to identify vulnerabilities before they're exploited in the real world.
So it's like proactively attacking your own system
Yeah.
to find weaknesses and reinforce them. That's a powerful approach.
It is, and they suggest incorporating security testing as an integral part of the experimentation phase.
Right.
Not just focusing on model accuracy,
Right.
but also on its resilience against adversarial attacks.
This reminds me of the concept of adversarial training, where
Yeah.
you intentionally introduce adversarial examples during training to make the model more robust.
Exactly. They discuss this technique as a key method for enhancing both security and fairness, which is a fascinating connection.
So by focusing on security, you can potentially improve other aspects of the model, like fairness.
Precisely, it highlights the interconnectedness of different ML qualities
Yeah.
and how a holistic approach can yield multiple benefits.
Okay.
But let's not forget the technology aspect.
Right.
The authors delve into the need for secure tools and platforms throughout the MLOps pipeline.
Thinking about the tools and platforms used for data preprocessing, model training deployment, and monitoring.
Yeah.
Are they arguing that we need specialized tools built specifically for SecMLOps?
They acknowledge that current MLOps tools often lack robust security features. Okay.
They even provide a table summarizing the security capabilities of popular MLOps tools, which is incredibly useful for practitioners.
So it's a call to action for both tool developers and practitioners to prioritize security.
Right.
Developers need to build more secure tools, and practitioners need to carefully evaluate the security features of the tools they choose.
Right. But it's not just about the tools themselves.
Yeah.
It's about how they're used and integrated.
Okay.
The authors stress the importance of secure configurations, access controls, and encryption to protect data and models throughout the pipeline.
And of course, we can't forget governance and compliance.
Absolutely.
As AI regulation continues to evolve,
Right.
ensuring our ML systems adhere to those standards is paramount.
Absolutely. The authors emphasize that compliance isn't just a box to tick.
Yeah.
It's about building trust with users and demonstrating the responsible use of AI.
Okay.
They highlight the importance of data privacy regulations like GDPR.
And industry-specific regulations like HIPAA, depending on the application. And it's interesting how the paper connects governance and compliance back to the people aspect of SecMLOps.
Yeah.
It's not just about having policies in place, it's about fostering a culture of security awareness
Right.
throughout the organization.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everyone involved in that MLOps lifecycle needs to understand their role
Absolutely.
in maintaining that security and compliance.
Exactly.
From data scientists to DevOps engineers to legal teams.
Exactly. It's a shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's delve into some specific security challenges unique to ML systems that the paper highlights.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical.
Yeah.
What are some of the most pressing threats we need to be aware of?
Well, they cover a wide range of threats.
Okay.
And it's almost like a taxonomy of vulnerabilities.
Mhm.
Things like data poisoning, where attackers inject malicious data into the training data set
Right.
to compromise the model's integrity.
That's insidious. It's like subtly poisoning the wellspring of knowledge
Yeah.
the model learns from.
Precisely. And then there are adversarial examples. Those carefully crafted inputs designed to fool the model into making incorrect predictions.
Okay.
They can be virtually indistinguishable from legitimate inputs,
Yeah.
making them extremely difficult to detect.
So a model might perform flawlessly in a controlled environment,
Right.
but fail catastrophically when exposed to these adversarial attacks in the real world.
Exactly. And it's not just about attacks on the model itself.
Okay.
They also discuss threats to the underlying infrastructure.
Right.
Things like exploiting vulnerabilities in the software libraries used for ML, or gaining unauthorized access to the computing resources used for training or deployment.
So it's crucial to have robust security measures in place.
Yes.
At every level of the system.
Absolutely.
From the algorithms to the data to the infrastructure itself.
Absolutely. And they don't just list the threats. They offer potential countermeasures and mitigation techniques for each one.
Okay, give me an example. How do you defend against something like data poisoning?
One technique they mention is robust data validation,
Okay.
using statistical methods to identify and filter out outliers or potentially malicious data points.
Right.
They also discuss the use of blockchain technology
Oh, wow.
to create tamper-proof records of training data,
Okay.
ensuring its integrity.
That's interesting, using blockchain to establish a chain of custody
Yeah.
for the data so you can trace its origins and verify its authenticity.
Exactly. And for adversarial examples,
Okay.
they talk about adversarial training as a key defense mechanism
Ah,
by exposing the model to these adversarial examples during training.
right.
You can make it more robust
Ah.
and less susceptible to these attacks.
But we were just talking about adversarial training as a way to improve fairness. It's remarkable how a single technique
I know, right?
can address multiple challenges.
It highlights the interconnectedness of security, fairness, and robustness in ML systems,
Yeah,
and it underscores the value of a holistic approach like SecMLOps.
right.
But even with the best defenses, breaches can still occur.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why the paper emphasizes the importance of continuous monitoring
Okay.
and incident response.
So it's not enough to just build a fortress.
Right.
You need to have vigilant guards watching for intruders and a plan in place
Exactly.
to repel any attacks.
Precisely. They suggest implementing real-time monitoring systems that can detect anomalies in model behavior
Okay.
or unusual patterns of data access, and having a well-defined incident response plan
Right.
that outlines the steps to take in case of a security breach.
This makes me think about the human element again.
For sure.
You need skilled security professionals who can analyze these monitoring systems, interpret the data,
Right.
and respond effectively to any threats.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to the challenge of bridging the gap between cybersecurity and machine learning.
Right.
We need more individuals with expertise in both domains.
The paper also touched on the trade-off between security and performance.
Yeah.
A classic dilemma.
Classic.
In any software system.
Yeah.
How do they navigate this tension in the context of SecMLOps?
Well, They acknowledge that some security measures can impact model performance,
Uh-huh.
introducing latency or requiring additional computational resources.
Okay.
But they argue that this trade-off needs to be carefully considered based on the specific application
Right.
and the potential risks involved.
So it's a balancing act.
It is.
You need to weigh the cost of security measures against the potential consequences of a security breach.
Exactly. And they emphasize that this decision should involve collaboration between security experts,
Yeah.
ML engineers, and business stakeholders.
Right.
It's not just a technical decision, it's a business decision as well.
They also suggest incorporating security metrics into the model evaluation process.
Yes.
What are some examples of these metrics, and how do they differ from traditional ML metrics?
Well, traditionally we focus on metrics like accuracy, precision, and recall
Right.
to evaluate model performance. But those metrics don't capture the security aspects.
Right. They only tell you how well the model performs under normal conditions,
Exactly.
not how well it holds up against attacks.
Exactly. So they propose introducing metrics that quantify the model's robustness
Okay.
against adversarial examples
Uh-huh.
or its resilience to data poisoning.
So you're not just measuring how accurately the model classifies images.
Right.
You're also measuring how easily it can be fooled by an adversarial image.
Precisely, and these metrics can help guide the development of
Yeah.
more secure ML models and algorithms.
Okay.
They also suggest metrics that measure the privacy-preserving capabilities of a model,
Okay.
aligning with growing concerns around data privacy
Right.
and regulations like GDPR.
So it's about evaluating the model not just on its predictive power,
Yep.
but also on its security robustness and privacy-preserving characteristics.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond traditional metrics and adopting a more holistic view of model evaluation.
Now, putting all this together, what are some practical steps organizations can take to embrace the SecMLOps paradigm?
Well, the paper provides some excellent recommendations.
Okay.
They start by emphasizing the need for a cultural shift,
Okay.
where security becomes a shared responsibility
Right.
and a core value embedded in the organization's DNA.
That makes sense. It's not just about implementing tools and technologies. It's about fostering a mindset
Yes.
that prioritizes security.
Exactly. And that involves providing security training for all stakeholders,
Okay.
fostering collaboration between security experts and ML teams, and establishing clear security policies and procedures.
And of course, having the right tools and technologies in place is essential.
Absolutely. They recommend selecting MLOps platforms and tools that have built-in security features and controls.
Sorry?
They also encourage organizations to invest in security automation
Okay.
to streamline security practices and reduce the risk of human error.
Automation is key. It can help scale security efforts
Absolutely.
and ensure consistent implementation of security policies across the ML pipeline.
Precisely. And finally, they stress the importance of continuous monitoring
Right.
and incident response.
Yep.
Organizations need to be prepared to detect and respond to security threats in real time and have a plan in place to remediate vulnerabilities and recover from attacks.
It's a comprehensive approach
It is.
that requires a combination of people, processes, technology,
Yeah.
and a commitment to continuous improvement.
It's a journey.
That's not a one-time fix, but an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear that implementing SecMLOps is a substantial undertaking.
It is.
It requires a commitment from the entire organization, not just the technical teams.
I completely agree. It's a cultural shift, a new way of thinking about machine learning development.
Yeah.
But the payoff in terms of enhanced security, reliability, and trust is well worth the investment.
This paper has really opened my eyes to the complexity and importance of SecMLOps.
Perhaps.
As experts in this field,
Yeah.
we're constantly pushing the boundaries
Right.
of what's possible with machine learning,
For sure.
but we need to ensure we're doing so responsibly and securely.
Absolutely. The potential of AI is immense, but so are the risks if these systems are compromised.
Right.
SecMLOps provides a framework for navigating those risks and building systems that are not only powerful, but also trustworthy.
I'm particularly struck by the emphasis on the interconnectedness of various ML qualities.
Yeah.
It's not just about security in isolation.
Right.
It's about how security influences and is influenced by fairness, explainability, reliability, and even sustainability.
That's one of the key takeaways from this paper.
Yeah.
The idea that a holistic approach is essential.
Right.
We can't optimize for one quality at the expense of others.
Right.
We need to consider the interplay of all these factors to build truly robust and responsible ML systems.
It's also fascinating how they connect SecMLOps to the broader ethical landscape of AI.
Yeah.
Ensuring compliance with regulations like GDPR and fostering a culture of security awareness are crucial steps toward building trust with users and society as a whole.
That's a vital point. SecMLOps is not just about protecting organizations and their data.
Right.
It's about safeguarding the interests of individuals and society as AI becomes increasingly integrated into our lives.
So to wrap things up, let's distill the key takeaways from this deep dive into SecMLOps.
Okay.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
we need to recognize that security is not an optional add-on. It's a fundamental requirement for any ML system, especially as these systems become more sophisticated and pervasive.
Second, we need to shift from a reactive security posture to a proactive one,
Okay.
embedding security considerations into every stage of the MLOps lifecycle, from design to deployment and beyond.
Third, we need to adopt a holistic approach, recognizing the interconnectedness of security with other ML qualities like fairness, explainability, and reliability.
Fourth, we need to invest in developing secure tools and platforms, as well as in training and educating individuals with expertise in both machine learning and cybersecurity.
And finally, we need to cultivate a culture of security awareness and responsibility across the entire organization, from data scientists to business leaders to legal teams.
This paper provides a solid foundation for understanding the principles and practices of SecMLOps. It's a call to action for all of us involved in building and deploying ML systems to prioritize security and ensure the responsible and beneficial development of this transformative technology.
The future of AI depends on our ability to create systems that are not only powerful, but also secure, trustworthy, and aligned with human values. SecMLOps provides the roadmap for achieving that future.